that in my presentations where I'm like, what was I just saying?
Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of College and Career Pathways, where every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m. we provide you with information on various colleges and universities, financial aid resources, technical schools, training programs, skilled trade professions, and career readiness skills, all designed to help you make the best career decisions possible. I'm Toni Cureton, your host, and today we are continuing and winding down to our last financial literacy series. We have one more after this, and we are with Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union. Welcome back, Colleen. We're so glad to have you. And today we are going to be talking about how to boost your credit score.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Happy to be back. We have spoken about credit score before, what it is, why it's important. So as we're kind of bringing this to a close, we're looking at, okay, moving forward, how do we make sure we keep that credit score high? How do we make sure we can keep boosting and keep this high going? So I've got a nice little video for you. Then we will go over the details that they cover.
Oh, good.
Yes?
Credit squirrel, hey, I need some help building my credit score.
Shh. Yes, of course. Come in.
Okay.
Right. Here are 7 ways to build and maintain good credit scores. Number 1. Pay your bills on time. Don't hide them and don't pretend they don't exist. Pay your statement balance in full each month.
That's simple enough.
Number 2. Part of your credit score is based on the length of your credit history. So if you're just starting out, open one credit card and use it for small, regular, manageable payments, like a cell phone bill or gas.
Okay, something I know I can pay off every month.
Indeed. 3. Keep your credit utilization low. This means using only a small portion of your available credit.
I don't think I understand.
Example, if you have $1,000 of credit available and you're using almost all of it each month, it makes you look as though you rely heavily on that credit line. Keeping your utilization down to about 10% keeps your credit score in tip-top shape.
10% utilization. Got it.
4. Don't open a large amount of credit cards in a short time. Lots of inquiries on your credit report within a short time frame makes your score drop. 5. To give your score an extra boost, have a variety of credit. A mix of credit cards, retail cards, utility bills and installment loans keeps your score balanced.
Nice.
6. Try not to carry a balance. Pay off your statement balance every month.
What if I can't afford to do that?
If you can't afford to pay something off in a month, you probably shouldn't be putting it on a credit card in the first place. A credit card shouldn't be treated like extra income. Budget wisely. Making only the minimum payments each month can get you in trouble very quickly with all the interest you have to pay.
Yikes.
And finally, number 7, monitor your credit. There are free sites that you can use to get a good estimate of your credit score, as well as paid services to access the exact scores.
That's really great. Thank you so much, Credit Squirrel. Once again, you've been incredibly helpful. Oh, I was just getting advice from the Credit Squirrel. He lives in this tree, and, you know what? Never mind. Everybody can go away now.
All right. So very cute. Very cute. All right. So boosting your credit. Again, the squirrel was describing not just what credit is, but okay, you guys are aware of it. It's like your adult GPA. It's this number. And how do we keep it high? How do we have the best credit score? We're all getting started. We're all looking at our first credit card, our first kind of venture into credit. Start small. I say this over and over again. Start small, start simple, start slow, all of the things. Same thing when you're learning to drive a car. You don't just boom, get into a Ferrari. You start in the back roads, make sure there's no other cars around, practice parking with cones. Same thing with finances. You get a new job, you get pretty sizable paycheck. That's great. But you don't want to just jump into going and spending a bunch of stuff. Okay, let's take a step back, 1 foot at a time. Where do I want it deposited? Where's the money going to go? So our first ventures into credit, we're starting small, we're asking questions, we're keeping things simple. Consistency. Again, like your job, like school, like a friend, you want them to be consistent. You want them to be reliable. You want them to be what's expected. You want them to be dependable. So as far as you are concerned, you pay your bills on time, you follow deadlines, you follow your commitments, you do what is asked of you, and consistency. What stands out is a break in that consistency, right? If you do well in school all year long, but you fail one test, that one failed test is going to stick out like a sore thumb, right? So same thing with your finances. If you just focus on consistency, just nothing should stand out. Everything is just small and manageable. Open a small credit, or open one credit card and use it for small purchases. Certainly one credit card. There's no reason for your first credit card to have multiple credit cards. There's nothing necessarily wrong, but it's just not necessary. You don't need to learn to drive and have 3 different cars you can pick from a day to go to school, and you just need the one car. Small limit. Remember, we talked about low limit, $500 limits, usually what most first credit cards have as a maximum that you can spend. You putting small purchases, small things. You're not going out and putting all of your bills, your car insurance, your pizzas. You should be putting maybe just your gym membership, or like they said, just your gasoline, or maybe just your phone bill, something that you're going to be paying anyway. I'm going to be paying my phone bill anyway each month. I'm going to be paying my gym membership anyway. So instead of it coming maybe directly out of my checking account, it goes onto my credit card, and then I pay the credit card bill. So now I'm paying exactly the same amount. I'm doing the same thing I was doing before. Maybe I'm taking one extra step, but I'm getting the benefits. I'm getting the credit for paying on time, for paying in full. So how do I give myself the most credit, right? Well, you want to show that you are responsible in using your credit card, but we're starting small. We don't want to go out and say, oh, you want to see me spend? Oh, I'll show you spending. No. Start small. Pay your bills on time. It sounds obvious. It sounds like, why are you even reminding me of that? It's a big deal. It's the biggest deal, right? I say with school, if you turn every single assignment in and you turn every single assignment in on time, even if you didn't try your absolute best, you're still going to do okay, right? You're still a reliable student. If sometimes you try hard, sometimes you don't try at all. Sometimes you don't turn work in at all. Sometimes you turn it in early. The times you don't turn it in really overshadow all of those times you do turn work in on time, right? As soon as you skip a payment, it kind of is a much bigger red flag than, well, what about all those times I paid on time? Yeah, but right now I'm looking at a missed payment. That consistency. As soon as a missed payment or a late payment, it's going to stick out, right? So make sure you're paying on time. Which is another reason why you do not want to charge more than you can afford paying back. What if paying on time is pretty tough? What if you're kind of just disorganized? What if you really, really intend on getting all of those assignments turned in on time, but you left it at home, it's still in your locker, you thought you put it in your other backpack? If you know that you have personal challenges with organization or deadlines, set up safety nets, ask for help. How can I help remind myself? calendar alerts, whether it's your phone calendar, your work calendar. You can set up, email reminders. You can set up text message reminders with your bank or your credit union. You can, the newest is e-statements. A lot of companies will ask you for e-statements, meaning they will email you your monthly information and then you pay from there. Now, if you check your email all the time, that's great. It's environmentally friendly. But if you're like me and you kind of sometimes don't really check your personal email, or it can go many days or week without checking your personal email, or you're just scrolling through and something from, it just looks like another ad, you can easily miss it. So maybe you're the type of person that actually needs a bill in the mail. I don't do well with those email statements. I really need it to show up in the mail so I can have a tangible piece of paper that I put in my purse that reminds me to pay. Maybe having the email is enough for you. Putting Post-it notes. What works for you? Find something that works for you, right? How do you get your homework turned in? How do you show up for your commitments on time? Whatever those are that work, incorporate that into your finances as well. All right, so building your credit. Right now, we talked about establishing it, getting that first card, maybe putting just a little bit purchases on it, a little bit that we know we can pay off. So now we're building. We're kind of like we got the job. Like when you first get hired, you're brand new, you have tons of questions, you're the new guy at work, and all you want is to be that person that like knows everything. You just can't wait to be the one that everyone else comes to with questions. You want to be informed about everything. So you can't wait to be better at your job. Similar with credit, right? At some point you just get started, but as soon as you have it, you suddenly feel like, well, I want all this credit for it. I've been having it for years. I want to jump ahead to all the benefits of having credit. Well, let's build up to get those benefits. Be aware of your borrowing behavior, and not just be aware of it, but be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Again, this is you. This is your money. If you genuinely have problems keeping deadlines, it's much better that you're honest with yourself and try to, work on addressing that than to, well, it's not my fault that I didn't turn it in on time, or my mom should have reminded me, or, well, the mailman didn't send it to me in early enough time. You've got to just be honest with yourself. What is it you have challenges with? What is it you maybe need to work better on? And you work on it at your own pace, right? Perhaps you're doing really well. I'm paying on time. I can maybe even put a little bit more on the credit card than I originally thought because I have really good self-control. Or maybe your self-control is a lot worse than you thought. It's a lot harder to not spend money on that credit card than you thought. You've got to maybe kind of see how things go, monitor your behavior, and address it. Am I using my card too much? Am I being responsible? Is it difficult for me to make on-time payments? Once you see your behavior and you can kind of get it consistent, because again, consistency is key, we'll start to build, and we'll build a history. Try not to carry a balance. And just like the squirrel said, he said, well, if you can't pay off your total bill in 1 month, then maybe you shouldn't, put anything on your credit card in the first place. I agree and I disagree. On one hand, he's right. If you can't afford that piece of pizza, if you can't afford that t-shirt, if you don't have enough money in your checking account right now to buy that concert ticket, then you really shouldn't put it on your credit card. You can't afford it. If you can't afford your concert ticket, you shouldn't be taking out a loan for that concert ticket, right? You should be able to pay your entire credit card bill off in full every single month, like any other bill. You get your electricity bill, you get your rent bill. You don't say, well, I'm going to pay $700 out of my $900 rent. You intend on paying the full rent. You intend on paying your full electricity bill. So you want to treat your credit card bill the same way. I intend on paying it off in full every month. Okay. Now, where I kind of disagree with him is I want you to treat the credit card like an emergency safety net, right? You're only maybe putting your gym membership on it. That's all you're using your card for, and you're consistently paying off your gym membership. Well, now you hit a pothole and the tire has a hole in it and you got to get it towed and you got to get a new tire and you lost a whole day of work. I mean, that's a few hundreds of dollars, $100 for the tow, $100 for the tire. Well, I don't have that money in my checking account. That's what the credit card is for. That's the opportunity. Phew, it's a good thing I have this safety net and I can put that, car repair, tire repair on the credit card. And maybe I can't pay it off all at once this month, but I'm going to pay as much as I can. If you're putting those concert tickets and that piece of pizza and that cup of coffee in the morning, and you're putting that on the credit card, when that emergency and that tire replacement comes, you're not going to have any room on the credit card and it's not going to be that safety net for you. So try not to carry a balance, try not to carry over any unpaid balance from month to month. But if you're using the credit card for an emergency purchase, for an emergency expense, that's what it's for. So I hope that that difference kind of makes sense. It is not extra income. This is very important. Your credit card is not extra income. If you make $2,000 a month and now you have a credit card with an extra $2,000 a month limit, that does not mean you should be spending $4,000 a month. That means you're still making $2,000, but you're spending $4,000. So you're already in debt before you've even started the next month. It's a terrible cycle. It is not extra income. It is just a safety net for emergencies. Keep your utilization rate low. This is important. This is a big booster. This is one of those things to boost your score. Well, my score is okay, but I really need it to go higher. I really want to buy a house or a car in the next few years. So I want to spend the next 6 months really doing what I can to boost my score up higher and higher, so that when I actually do apply for that car loan, I've got a really high score. So what does that mean? What does utilization rate mean? Well, they mentioned it. It's a little bit of math. Your credit utilization. How much credit is available to you? So in the example, they showed someone with 2 credit cards. This one is a credit card with $1,000 limit. You could spend up to $1,000 if you so chose. It has a second credit card with a $500 limit, meaning if you wanted to, you could go out today and spend $500 on that credit card. So you have the ability to go out and spend $1,500. That's your available credit that you have right now. Okay. You add them together, $1,000 credit available, $500 credit available. Well, out of that, out of what I'm able to spend, I currently owe $580, right? I owe $150 on my $1,000 card. I owe $430 on my $500 card. Maybe they have 3 or 4 or 5 credit cards, with a Sears card or a LensCrafters card or a Kohl's card. But I currently owe $580 out of the possible $1,500 that I could owe. So 580 divided by 1,500. Right now, my utilization rate is 39%. I owe 39% of the maximum, right? If I owed $1,500, I would have a 100% utilization rate, right? Well, that's not even that much. Wow, you only owe $500. Well, 580 out of 1,500, that doesn't seem like too much, 39. And you're saying you want me to have only 10%? Oof. Well, A, pay the whole thing off, right? Pay in full, pay the whole balance off, always in full. B, this is to boost your credit. If you have a 39% utilization rate, if you have a 30% utilization rate, it's not the end of the world. You're okay. You know, it's an emergency. You're paying it off. You're only holding over from each month what you feel you absolutely have to. 10% is I'm really trying to boost my score. I want my score to go up. I'm making a conscious effort to try to raise my score. I want the absolute lowest utilization rate possible. 0% is ideal, right? If you pay your credit cards off in full every single month, and there's nothing that carries over into the next month, and you owe $0 out of $1,500, that's that beautiful 0% utilization rate. So in order to look the best, in order to look the most responsible, you want to borrow a very small amount of what you're able to, right? You want to show, oh, I know I can spend this, but I don't need to. I don't need to borrow all of that. I'm just fine only borrowing $50 or only borrowing $100. You know, I don't want it to seem like I'm desperate. I'm very responsible. I just need $100. So the less you borrow out of what you're able to, the more responsible it makes you look. Another one, space out new accounts, new openings. For example, I remember many, many years ago when I got my first apartment by myself on my own. And really all in the same month, I had gotten like a new job, a new apartment, a new car. I think I got a new credit card. It was, you know, one of those like, it's a whole new me. But really that's a lot. That's a lot of paperwork. That's a lot to keep track of. That's a lot of changes. You don't really want to start everything at once. I mean, if something had happened, if maybe I got into a car accident, if I needed to, you know, suddenly to get a different car loan, if I suddenly needed to get some debt consolidation loan, it wouldn't look very good because I had just taken out all of this new car, you know, a new car loan, a new credit card loan, a new rent. Space things out, meaning, like the example, you have $1,000 limit card. That's your emergency card, right? That's your, so to speak, normal credit card that you use for emergencies. And let's say you have that $500 card, and that's your Kohl's card. You know, that's a retail card that you don't really use very often. Okay, you can stay just with that. If you happen to see in the mail or you see online and it's this credit card offer, 0% interest, 0% balance transfer. Oh, this looks like a great deal. I'm definitely going to sign up for this credit card. Okay. And then I'm going to move stuff from over here onto here and I'll cancel this card. You know, and then a few months later, you see another ad and it says, oh, this one is 0% for a whole year. Oh, well, I definitely want to sign up for this credit card. And you know what, I'm going to leave this card here and I'm going to get this, and then maybe I'm going to sign up for this one. The more credit cards you sign up for, looks on paper like you need the ability to borrow more money, right? I mean, if you have, well, I have this $1,000 credit card and I pay it back. But if next month, well, wow, this person asked for 5 more credit cards in the past month. That seems a little odd. I wonder what happened in their life that they're so desperate to, you know, have more money available to them. That's, it's not a bad thing to have a credit card. It's not a bad thing to add an additional card or to say, you know what, I researched and I think this 0% card is a great idea. You can make those informed decisions, but they're just that, informed decisions. Why are you closing your old card? Do you need to? Are you just doing it because you think you should? Why are you opening the new card? Just because you think you should? Ask these questions. Space out. You don't want to just keep opening credit cards, closing cards, open card, close card. Anytime you do that, it affects your score a little bit, right? It's almost like, kind of think about it like you're picking up and dropping classes. You know, it's the start of a new semester, and so far you've dropped 3 classes, but you picked up 3 different classes. Well, okay, you're taking the same amount of classes, but you've kind of really missed half of that one and half of this one, and how much have you really learned at all from either of them? So it's similar to that. Mix it up. So far, we've gotten a credit card. We're using just a small amount of it. We're making sure to pay in full. We're paying on time every month. And sometimes this is where people will get stuck. I talk to people who are, 30, 35, and, oh, how do I boost my credit? How do I get a better credit score? Okay, well, let's talk about where you're at right now. Do you have a credit card? What's your credit limit? How many credit cards do you have? Do you have an auto loan? And sometimes the answer I'll get is, yep, I have a credit card. It has a $500 limit. And I've tried to be really responsible. So I only have that one credit card and maybe like a store card. And you're like, okay, well, good. But I'm sorry, you said you're how old? 30, 35? And you only have one $500 limit credit card? Well, yes, I don't want to accumulate too much debt. I'm trying to be responsible. Okay, I appreciate that. But I mean, you kind of got that at 18, right? Haven't you built? Haven't you grown? Haven't you experienced things? You haven't spent or paid back any more than $500 in the past 15, 17 years. So not that that's a bad thing, but you want your credit to grow with you, right? 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, as long as you think that $500 limit is as high as you're supposed to go, keep it. Start small, right? We're starting small. But over time, right, as you grow, as you earn more money, as you start to spend more money, have more bills, more expenses, you want to show that you can also take on more credit. I have my normal credit card, and I also have these 2. There's the Home Depot card that I pay off a washing machine that I got every month. I have a Best Buy card that I pay off every month from a TV that I bought. You know what? I have an auto loan. I finally got a good job, and I'm buying a dealer used car, and I'd like to apply for an auto loan. You know what? I graduated college, and now it's time I actually got to start paying back this student loan that I borrowed a while ago, right? Well, now at this point, oh, okay, not only can this person handle just a $500 limit credit card, and I mean, we let 16-year-olds handle that. Now you're a grown person who has student loans they're paying back, a car loan they're paying back, multiple credit cards. You're consistent. Again, we remember consistency on everything. We're paying everything back on time. It's that boosting, right? We're growing with our credit. We are becoming more responsible. We are becoming more experienced. I mean, quite literally, you're more experienced in money, in paying bills, in earning money, in situations you've gone through, buying furniture, making big financial decisions, applying for a loan, maybe getting denied from a loan. You want to grow with your credit. Let's say you get a letter in the mail and it says, congratulations, you've been such a good customer that we've decided to increase your credit limit from $500 to $1,000. Now you have the ability to go spend $1,000 instead of $500. Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for trusting me, for giving me this responsibility. That doesn't have to change your behavior at all. Now you have the ability to spend $1,000. What if I said you have the ability to spend $5,000 or $10,000? It really shouldn't matter because you're only spending as much as you can pay back, right? So if I say you could spend $50,000 this month, it wouldn't be a very smart decision to spend $50,000 if you know you can't pay it back. So having your credit lines increase, having your limits get higher and higher can make you look more responsible, can make you look like you have more self-control, that again, you're only using a small portion of what's available to you. Let's think about it this way. If we go back to this slide here. Let's say we got a letter that says, congratulations, we are raising this $500 limit card to a $1,000 limit. You say, thank you. Now, instead of I owe $580 out of $1,500, I owe $580 out of $2,000. So 580 divided by 2,000, well, that's a lower number. That's a much lower number. So now, even though I literally owe exactly the same amount, my credit utilization rate has gone down because the total amount I'm able to spend is higher. So it's a juggle. You want more ability to spend money, but you need that self-control to keep the number low, under 30, under 10%. So you do want to mix it up over time, but start small. First credit card doesn't mean go out and get a car, go out and get, this in your name, get this in your name. Start small, but the consistency, the on-time payments, the building, your credit with you over time, you're so miles ahead of the person who's kind of stumbling along and just paying the bills they think they should pay, paying the minimum that they have to pay. You're going to get a better deal. You're going to save money. It's just going to be a lot better. Monitoring your credit. We've talked about monitoring your checking account transactions, using your mobile app every day, every single day. It's face login or fingerprint login. Just take that 30 seconds, just double check your transactions. You want to monitor your credit report in the same way. Maybe not every single day, it changes every month, right? Each new billing cycle, did this person pay their bills this month? So you don't get a new credit score every day. It changes every month. But just like your report card, just like the balance in your checking account, you want it to be accurate, right? It's important that it's accurate. You're not going to apply for a scholarship knowing that the transcript you're sending them has the wrong grades on it. I mean, that would be silly. You're not going to apply for a car loan knowing that there's an incorrect repossession on there. Well, that repossession didn't really happen to me. Just trust me, it didn't happen to me. It's on there. It's on there. You want to know what is on your report. What is it saying about me? What is the picture that's being painted about me? If it's accurate, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do to change accurate information. Even if it's negative, if it's accurate, you can't change it. If there's something inaccurate, someone must have used my name to apply for this credit card. I don't know where this bill came from. I've never been to a hospital in Utah. There might be a mistake. There might be a mistake because of, you have the same name as someone else, or your social security number is one number off, but you want to make sure it's accurate, right? So along the same lines that you want to make sure no one's spending money out of your account. You want to make sure no one's, breaking into your car in the middle of the night. Every once in a while, you want to check to make sure that no one's using your name. No one's reporting incorrect information about you. if I've been making my car payment on time for the past 6 months, that's what I want it to say, right? I want it to say on-time payment for the last 6 months. If I pull my credit report up applying for a car and it says I haven't made a payment for the past 2 months, well, I'm not getting that loan. And maybe by the time I actually get the dispute figured out and I get it corrected, I mean, that's what, a whole month from now and the damage is done. I should check that first before I ever even go apply for that car loan, right? Make sure everything's accurate, then go apply for the car loan. Request a free credit report from each of the major bureaus. You get one free report each year. So that's one from Experian, one from TransUnion, and one from Equifax. You don't necessarily want to get them all at the same time, because then you have to wait a whole year to do it again. So maybe check Experian in January, TransUnion in May, and then Equifax in like September. You know, you want to space it out so you're kind of checking a few times a year. There's also different options, different ways to get information on your credit score without having to actually do a pull on your credit report. There's some credit cards that will post your credit score with your statement, or when you log into your online banking, that you can, you know, go to a certain area and it'll give you some credit activity, show you your credit score. There's Credit Karma, which is not a exact representation. You can't print out a Credit Karma and bring it to the dealership and say, yeah, I got good credit. They need to run a real report, but it should be very similar. It should be very similar. If there's something incorrect on your Credit Karma report, well, then by all means, it might be incorrect on your real credit report too. So definitely seek out as many ways, free ways to monitor your credit. Just because you don't currently need credit doesn't mean you should ignore it. I have a car, I have a house, I have a credit card. I'm not looking for any loans. I can't think of a situation where I'll need a loan. I'm not looking for any credit, but I absolutely want to monitor my credit and make sure that there's no incorrect information there. I mean, what if something happens? What if I get into an accident and I need a new car? What if I lose my job today and I have to start, applying for other jobs? And then those recruiters are going to run my credit report. You always want to make sure the information is accurate, whether you need it right now or not, right? When you check your own credit report, it does not affect you negatively. And you'll hear like, oh, you pulled credit, or did they pull your credit? Oh, that was a hard hit or a hard pull on your credit. If you apply for credit, hi, I'd like to apply for a credit card. I'd like to apply for a home loan. I'd like to apply for an auto loan. If you are actually applying for a loan, the financial institution, whoever it is you're asking for money to borrow from, they will do a full credit report, and they will pull a full credit check, and that will count as a hard pull. And that will affect your credit. Not a ton, just a bit. But what if you were applying for new loans all the time? I mean, whether you got approved or whether you got denied, I'd like to know if I'm the 9th person that you've come to this month, asking for a loan, or, I'd like to know if I'm the 9th person this year that you've asked for $10,000 from. So it does show up and it does affect simply just by requesting to have your credit pulled. But hey, I'm actually looking for a car. I'm actually comparison shopping the different interest rates to find out what would be the best deal. Then it's totally worth it to me. You know what? I'll take a tiny hit so that I can get the best interest rate for the car I'm actually buying. That's what's most important, right? A soft pull or a soft hit is when your credit information gets pulled, but in a less formal way. For instance, if you're looking for a job, They can pull up your credit and it's not going to count as a hard hit. If you look up your own credit, you pull your own credit, you're pulling the information, but it's a soft hit. It does not count against you. It does not, it doesn't bring your score down any. So don't be afraid to check your own score or to look at your own report, because it does not affect you negatively. It can only help, right? It can only confirm that things are going well, or it can notify you that some things need to be addressed. And it looks like that's all. There's a lot in credit reports. Basics: start slow, start small, and just allow yourself to build over time. The same way you get a new job, you take on new responsibilities, you start to learn new things, you talk to new people, but you don't jump in the first day and say, hey man, I'm going to come in and change this place. Things are going to run different around here. No. Learn, listen, ask questions. And over time, you're going to be really great at your job and people are going to be coming and asking you for questions. Just be willing to kind of listen and put in the work and start small and slow and, build on itself. Ms. Cureton, did you have any questions that you can think of or things left out?
No, everything was pretty accurate and thorough. Biggest takeaway is that there are no quick ways to boost a credit score. You really have to put in the work by making sure you don't charge more than you have the ability to pay within a month, and that you make sure your payments are timely. Setting up automatic payments is a very good idea. That way you don't have any memory lapses or periods where you go, oh, I forgot. You never miss your timely payment if you set up automatic payments with your creditors and whatnot. And then the third thing is, don't go crazy when you get your credit card and spend up all the money. That's not what it's for. It's not free. You do have to pay it back, and you just have to be super responsible, because things happen, and when things happen, it is as Colleen said, you had a blowout, now you need new tires. But you can't, because you spent up all of your line of credit on gym shoes or jewelry, whatever it is that you would spend it on. So thanks so much. Do you guys have any questions or comments that you'd like to make? All righty then. We will bring this session to a close. Thank you again, Colleen. One more, and we will be bringing our series to its final conclusion for the year. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
See you guys next time. Bye.